Hi there everybody, and welcome to another video. I've been out of action for about a week already. I had COVID and it's just been a pain in the neck. I'm still feeling a little bit dodgy or a little bit breathless, but we're kind of back today, and hopefully I'll take it easy anyway. On this video I have this BMW 328. This is a 2014, and I'm gonna be changing the oil and the oil filter, as well as topping up some screen wash fluid and just checking the coolant level and percentage of antifreeze in the coolant tank. So I'm gonna start with topping up some screen wash fluid. Screen wash fluid I got here. This is concentrated that I get, and I mix it myself. And that I will be pouring in here. So it's advisable to get the proper fluid for your windscreens, because when you get into winter, if you have only water in there, that water freezes. It's kind of going everywhere. Anyway, I think you get the idea of where that goes. I will pour that in there. So like I was saying, if you pour only water in there, then that water will freeze in winter, and then you won't get any water coming out your jets just when you need it the most. Also, if you put washing up liquid, sometimes it gets extremely foamy and it just messes up your windscreen as well. So just get the proper stuff. It's cheap enough. You can buy it ready mixed and just pour it straight in there. So I'll just pour some in there, and then we'll check the coolant level and percentage of antifreeze. Okay, got the fluid in there. Now we'll have a look at the coolant here. Now if the car's been running and is very hot, just be careful when you open this little cover here, as there will be pressure in there, and you don't want any coolant jumping on your face because it will be boiling. I just got a light there, shine on that. It helps you see the fluid in there. If you didn't have any fluid, then the tank will look just clear. So it's a good idea to shine a light there. Now as a reference point, so I'll just put that in there. We have an arrow here. You may be able to see there is a little arrow there on the side. It's a bit difficult to show you really, but that arrow there is pointing to this area here, and that's more or less where you want your coolant to be at, this area here. You can always check your manual for reference to that, but in this case the car's been running, is quite hot. I expect the coolant to expand a little bit, so maybe the best time to check for the proper level will be when the car is cold. So at the moment it's a little bit above, it's above the max there basically, but again, as I said, I'll have to wait for it to cool down to see exactly where this is at. But at the moment, as I can see it, I'm happy with the level there. I don't really have an issue with that. It's up to there, like I said, a little bit above this line here. And the other thing is, I'm gonna use this tool here to check the percentage of antifreeze, which means it's just the level at which, or the percentage of how much antifreeze is in there and how much it would withstand. So at the moment it's showing me around -24 more or less. So basically the temperature will have to get outside, will have to get to -24 -25 for this liquid to freeze. So we don't have extreme temperatures here in the UK, which means that it's just about fine for as far as I'm concerned. And also this tool actually just lets you check the condition of the coolant. You can see it's got a bluish color, and it's also quite clean and clear. It's not contaminated or anything like that. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the level, I'm happy with the percentage antifreeze there, so nothing to do there. So I can just put the cover back on. Just make sure you close this properly all the way until the two arrows match. You can't really turn it anymore. And that's it. So now we're gonna concentrate on the oil and the oil filter. I'm gonna start by opening this cover here. That's the oil filler cap there. Just gonna leave it open on there, hanging on there. And also I'm gonna use this tool here. This is a S40 S80 or 8616, which fits on that. I've already opened my filter, by the way, so you just need a ratchet like this to open that, using that. And so you can open that, and you can leave it there for a few minutes. Just let it drain, because that will be full of oil. Let it drain down, and then you can pick this out. Because I opened it earlier on, air went into it and it drained the oil, so that was sitting there for a little while. And the next thing to do will be to get the car up and drain the oil from underneath. Just another thing to notice here, this the manual doesn't actually show you how many liters of oil the car takes, this engine takes. So from last year, I know that this car takes 5 liters, but just make sure you know the quantities, how much your car takes. That will be more to do with you'll have to do a Google search, or even you can call BMW and ask them. But yeah, unfortunately the manual doesn't actually show you. It does, however, tell you what kind of oil you can use. We have petrol engines, BMW long life, these ones here basically, or diesel engine, long life 04. You have also obviously these other options. These are the ones that I normally use: ACAE A3 or V4 for petrol engines, and C3 for diesel. So this is a petrol engine. I will be using one of those. 5W30 is normally viscosity I use. So obviously if you're in a very hot country, you may want to use a slightly thicker oil. If you're in a very cold country, you may want to use a slightly thinner oil. So right, now I'm gonna get the car up and we'll drain the oil. So looking at the car from underneath, we have this cover here, and within that cover there's this little cover, which we just want to open that bit there and then get this cover down. In there you will find the oil filler plug. This one has an Allen key that goes in there, so we'll just check this size now. Okay, so you're gonna need this Allen key. This is a 10mm size, and I'm using this replacement filter here from this manufacturer, Mali, the OX387D1. And in that kit you're gonna get obviously the filter, you're gonna get an O-ring, and also a new cover, a new sump plug cover, which is just plastic, so that fits in there. and it says there this gets tightened to 8 Newton meters. So unlike the older cars that have a bolt which is around more like 30 Newton meters, these are just plastic and don't take much force. So just remember that, because you don't want to damage it. And so I'm just gonna get ready here, get an oil pan to catch the oil, and then we can open that plug. Okay, so this shouldn't really take much force to take out. Now why is that not fitting in there? Right, okay. It wasn't quite fitting. It's almost like it shrunk a little bit or something. Right. Okay. Let's take it out now. And just remember, if the engine's been running, that oil can be very hot, so just be careful, don't burn yourself. And that's it, we can let that drain, and in the meantime I'm going to prepare my filter. Okay, here's my old filter. You can just take that out from there, like so. This one is slightly different make. This is actually a genuine BMW part. It's written up there. So it's a little bit difficult to see. And here's the O-ring we want to remove. And there's this tiny little O-ring there as well. So let's take that out. Now we can fit the new one around there. And there's the other little one, comes in the kit. And the new filter. Push that all the way in. I'm also going to put a little bit of a multi-purpose grease around this O-ring here, just to prevent any rips or cracks or anything like that on the rubber when we screw this on. So it will just help the rubber slide as you put this on, and hopefully prevent any damage and subsequently any leaks. Well, that's the idea anyway. I also have this one, which probably I would want to put a little bit of grease there as well. I mean, you can also use some of the oil that you're going to use for the car. So rather than grease, you could use a little bit of oil instead. Right, so everything is ready to go back in. So again, 8 Newton meters for that. If you have a torque wrench, use it. If you haven't, don't use it, but be careful. So time to put the new sump plug in there. So I'm gonna do it by hand first, make sure it's going in the correct way. Don't want to damage it. Okay, that's it. Now we just clean the area, make sure there's no oil around it. That way, next year, if you find any oil around here, then you know if it's coming from somewhere else, and you definitely clean that. That's it. Now I'm gonna get the car down. We put some oil and the filter. Okay, so we're ready to put our filter on. On this cover it says 25.5 Newton meters. So again, that isn't a lot of force. If you have torque wrench, again, use it. And I always put this in by hand. Make sure it's going in the correct way. Don't want to damage it. And after that, I can use the ratchet. So again, I'm only using a torque wrench, but if it's the first time you're doing this, then sometimes it's a good idea so you don't damage your filter, you don't break it, because if you don't know the forces, then you could easily over tighten that and even damage it. So now we have, I already put some oil in there, but basically just to show you that that's where the oil goes. I left a little bit because you don't really need to watch me pouring in 5 liters of oil. No need. So that's where the oil goes. Okay, so oil is in, filter is in, put the cover back on there. Sump plug bolt is in, everything is tightened, and now we can start the car. So it's been started and it's running well, no weird noises, and engine is running fairly smooth. So the next thing to do will most likely be I need to reset the service indicator here. Usually I think in this model you can do that from here, as far as I remember. You have to if you switch on the ignition here and press and hold this button until you get that service there, basically. Right, let's try this again. Okay, press and hold it, and then it's gonna show you the things that you can reset. Reset possible, that's for the brake fluid change, or in this case, reset possible for the oil, and that is something that we can reset. So if you press and hold that button, then release it, it says perform reset, and then sorry, you have to press and hold it again. So press and hold, and reset in progress, and that is done. I've also carried out an inspection on this car and a check, so I will be resetting that. reset in progress. And check the rest of the menu. So I have to really check and possibly change the brake fluid in this car. So I'll leave that for now. But basically, that's pretty much it. So having said that, I hope this video helps. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. So thank you for watching.